Hi everybody, it's Christina from Spectrm Noir. This is the card that I'm going to make, and we're dealing with this broody little scene for Halloween. Now this is the image that I'm using. This is from Just Ink Lined, and I've printed it off onto good quality card, and I've done it twice just in case I make a mistake. And I've also printed it off onto some copier paper because I need this to create a mask. So from the card I've cut it down to a size that I want to fit on my card, and this is what I'm going to work on. And from the copier paper I've cut one of those images out as a mask, and that's going to be added to my good card. And the moon is going to be added in, and this is now the area that I'm going to work on. Now the next thing I need to do is make my colour swatches so that I can choose which colours, shades I want to use. So I'm using the blues and the ice greys. So from this I've picked TB5, TB7, TB8 and TB9 from this colour swatch. And the ice greys, I'm using ice grey 4, IG6, IG7 and IG9. And then for the bats in the picture, I'm going to use the True Black, and for the windows I'm using OR2. So I'm going to make a start on the sky, and I have TB 5, 7 and 8. Now it doesn't matter if you go from light to dark or dark to light, but you need to remember which way they are on this sky. So I'm going to start at the top part of the sky with the darkest one, which is TB8, and I'm going to use the chisel end. So all I'm doing is going over the card, and I have it on a piece of copier paper so that I don't make a mess on my mat. So I'm just going all over it and laying down the colour, and I'm coming down to about a third of the way. Now if it's streaky, it's because there's not enough colour going down, so we need to just go over it until we have all the colour down there that we need. And I'm going over the top of the moon, over the mask. So with the next colour, the TB7, and again the chisel end, I'm going to come back into the picture and go over, just go over everything, and I'm just taking a couple of strokes over the last colour that I added in. Now we need to make sure that we go over the top of the mask and come right to the edge of the picture, and again I'm going about a third of the way down. Now to blend those two colours together, I'm going back to the TB8, and I'm just going to go over this join just a couple of times and come back into the top of the sky. Now that will blend those two together, and then I'm going to repeat the same process with the TB5, and I'm going to fill in the rest of the sky down at the bottom part of the picture. So with the last colour, with TB5, again the chisel end, I'm just coming down to the rest of the drawing. I've done the right side, I'm just coming down to the left side. So I'm coming off the edge of the mask, and I'm just going to make sure that that's all coloured in. I'm coming up to the TB7, and I don't want to move the mask, so I'm just dragging it all in one direction. And then to blend those two colours in, I'm coming back to TB7 and just going over the edge and filling in the rest of the sky, and then I need to blend those colours in again. And as I said, the more you do it, the more broody your sky becomes. And those colours will dry out and be a lot paler. And for the last time, I'm going back to my TB8 and I'm just going to blend that in. And again, I'm going to bring it all the way up to the top of the sky. Now I'm going to take the mask off again. We have the moon looking a little paler. Those colours will dry out. Now to finish the sky, I'm going to use TB9 and I'm going to use the fine end, because what I want to do now is just put some drifts of cloud in the sky, and I'm going to come across the moon. So I'm just going to trail some of the clouds out on the sky, and I'm going to do them both ways and go thicker at one end and then trail it out, and that will also help to blend in the colours. And then for the bats, I'm going to really make those bats dark, so I'm using the black pen and I'm going to just go over the bats just to bring them really dark into that night sky. Now once we've done that, we can remove the mask. So the mask to the moon went a while ago. We've trailed the clouds over it, and I'm just going to go over the clouds again, but I'm going to use the chisel end. So I'm going to make them thicker. So now I'm going to start working on the house. Now once you've removed the mask, if there's any little bits that the mask hasn't covered, just go in with the fine end of your pen and just touch those in. And that will dry to the same colour as the rest. So now with the orange pen and the fine end, I'm just going to pop in some of the windows. So I'm just going to colour in the windows on each part of the building. So now we can work on the greys on the building. Now if you look at it, anything that's facing away from the moon would be dark, and so for that I'm going to use Ice Grey 7, and I'm just going to pop in that dark colour on the part of the building that would be in shade. So we've done all the bits that are facing away from the moon. Now those that are facing into the moon would be paler. So we're coming to the the left hand side of the chimneys and the roofs and the walls. I'm going to work our way all down the side that would now be into the light. Now staying with this grey pen, because these windows would be in the dark, I'm going to just go over them just to tone down the orange with the grey pen. That's Ice Grey 4. And that just takes the brightness out of the windows. So now with Ice Grey 6, I'm just going to put in the really deep shadows into this building, and that would be under the little eaves there, and I'm also putting in what would be the cladding in the building and along the boards. So under the roof would be dark, and coming down this side would be dark. So we've also got a dark bit under the steps, and again under the roof and along the right hand side, and then this little turret underneath there would be dark, and on the steps would be dark, and the door which is deep into the alcove there would also be dark, and this little bit under there. So that just highlights the building a little bit more. And now we can work on the ground. So now I'm going to use Ice Grey 9, and again I'm going to just use the fine end, because what I want to do now is put some really dark shading around the edge of the hill. So I'm just going to accentuate the path and bring it down to the bottom. And I'm also going to accentuate the artist's impression of the slope in the hill. So I'm just going to bring that down. And then I'm going back through the other greys that I've used, the Ice Grey 6, 4 and 7. And I'm going to pop in with the chisel end some land. So I'm just going to do very roughly, use the chisel end to bring the land more into focus. And of course that then would need some highlights in it, some lighter parts in it. So we'll use the Ice Grey 4 just to bring the land with a little bit of highlight in it. And as I say, it's very quickly done, it's not a masterpiece. So we'll use some of the other greys. And in the path I'm just going to put some little dots that would be the stones that are in the path. And again with the chisel end we'll just bring the land a little bit further down. And then with the black pen at the bottom of the hill, we're just going to put in a fence. So I'm just going to use the fine end, and I'm just going to draw, just freehand, higgledy-piggledy, some fence posts. And they're going to lean all ways. And then once I've got the fence posts in, I just need to join them together. So we'll just put some planks across there, and they're all falling to bits because it's an old haunted house. And I think we'll call that a day. So there you have your spooky house, all ready to be added to a card and dressed up in any way that you wish. Very quickly done, but a fun effect.